There's a thing about both white vigilantism and white tears, particularly male white tears. Really white tears in general, because that's what Karens are, right? They Karen out, and then as soon as they get caught, it's like, Green Waterworks. White men can get away with that too. And it has the same effect.
So Joy Reid just had her final episode ever on MSNBC, and I decided to watch it, number one, because I'm a martyr, I do it for you guys, and number two, because this woman has been stealing my hairstyle for years.
The big news tonight will be Joy Reid's final show on MSNBC. Single tear, white woman tears happening right here, Joy. She was officially fired over the weekend because she's a racist, horrible news anchor with no ratings. And that's really been the truth for a long time. MSNBC's under new management, and I guess they decided to come to grips with reality. The truth is, this is very sad news for us, as she's provided so much material over the years. I feel the way I felt when Brian Stelter got fired, but he came back, and you never know. I'm sure Joy Reid will wind up doing something where we will continue to get to respond to her absolutely insane POV.
Earlier today, Joyless Reid posted a video of herself bawling, crying, saying her show had value, what she did had value, and now I know she's even more delusional than I initially thought. What value has Joy Reid added to society? She's done nothing but spew bile on television and sow division for years. She's denigrated anybody who doesn't fit into her small elite bubble.
My show had value, and that that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I try not to cry.
The end of what we're going to call the Joy Reid experiment is going to go down as a case study. You might find value in what it is that you do. However, if the market, if the audience does not agree, then you're going to be unsuccessful. And this is the problem with the leftist thinking, that they emotionally find value in what they're doing, but it doesn't actually translate into the marketplace. And therefore, they see things like this, where Joy Reid feels like her show was added value and she found value in it, but the market clearly did not agree. And we're going to see more of this. There'll be more of these examples if people are being honest. You can't just throw money into your feelings and money into your perceived value if there's not an actual value to a market audience or to your target audience. And this is going to continue to happen. So even though she's, crying, even though she found value, even though she believes that it was valuable, XYZ, ABC, but if the audience didn't find that, then therefore there's the problem. Let's listen to what Joy said to end this off.
My show had value, and that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I try not to cry on TV. And this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize. And then it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you. Where I land is that the moment of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted, and not just Black folks, or went hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life and defended them, or whether we've talked about what the president is doing that is subversive to the Constitution, that is injurious to our liberty, defending books that people find inconvenient, that Nicole Hannah-Jones put into our spirit, that we need to understand 1619 as the real founding of this country, whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object to little babies being bombed. And where I come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those those things, because those things are of God. And you know, I'm a church girl too, and those are the things that I was taught were of God. And so I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show.
So this guy does a good job of summarizing what I believe is the problem with MSNBC, with Joy Reid show, and conservative versus left politics as a whole. So let's check him out, see what he says.
Now, in Joy Reid's last show, I was expecting to see some semblance of evolution, of growth, of understanding where our country is in this moment and what happened on November 5th with Donald Trump's historic landslide victory, but I heard nothing of the sort. She spent the entire last episode, #1, in this MSNBC read out hoodie. Maybe that's her consolation prize. Maybe that's the one thing she can take as she... Now, there's a reason Democrats are turning off MSNBC. Your own party is turning you off because they can't listen to it anymore. Something else I've seen online the past few days is that many people are saying Joy Reid was fired because she's black, because she's a black woman. So I clapped back to someone on X a few minutes ago. Let me read you what I said. I said, her ousting had nothing to do with the color of her skin. TV is a ratings game. If she was bringing in the ratings, she'd still be there. Her own party got tired of her racist and unhinged bile each night, so they turned her off. They're literally replacing her with another black woman, so your argument is laughable. As I said in my last video, Simone Sanders right here is going to be one of the folks replacing Joy Reid in her time slot, so implying that there's some sort of racism here for firing Joy Reid, that is just simply not true. The last thing I'll say is this. Watching Joy Reid's final hour on MSNBC was the most I've ever watched MSNBC, and it was eerie and creepy how detached from reality and common sense everybody is on that network. It is almost March, and they are still using the same talking points from the last 4 years they've used about Donald Trump. They were still bringing up January 6th, and like I said, they were calling him a Nazi, Hitler, a fascist, implying all these things about his cabinet as well. They called Donald Trump's cabinet far right on the show that came on after this. I'm telling you, it was eerie and spooky watching MSNBC because of how unhinged and detached they are from the world we live in with common sense. MSNBC has nobody to blame but themselves for their downfall. There is a reason your ratings are in the gutter. There's a reason more Democrats are turning to conservative stations because they realized we were lied to. We weren't told the truth the last 4 years. So we saw Donald Trump's victory as a shock on November 5th because we were getting nothing but far left propaganda from MSNBC. So now they're turning on conservative networks, people within your own party. So MSNBC, you can go back to the drawing board, but you are just rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Goodbye.